Hello, everybody. Making sure the stream's working first. There it is. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live stream from Simply Nerdy. I'm your host, Steven. I'm joined today by the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour because I believe that this should have been a pack-in title and it wasn't. So I'm sitting here playing the entire game for all of you so that you don't have to pay for it. You're welcome. This has become a series. I thought I could stream this in 2 hours, and boy, was I wrong. And here I am, like 4 episodes later. So we just finished the Pro Controller during the last stream. So we are hopping on over to the Joy-Con 2 wheel area. First thing we're going to look at is the SL button here. Again, I previously just did all the stamps so I could fast travel for your convenience. But I'm showing you all the stamps and all the details about everything. So here's the player LED. Here is the SR button. SL. This is the right side. SR button. And now, something I haven't done before. You've collected at least 17 medals, right? Then let's get rolling. Cha-ching! You into motorcycles? Heck no! Just kidding. Well, here you can feel a vibration from HD Rumble 2 that mimics the feel of a motorcycle engine. Okay, that sounds cool. This isn't a mini game, so don't expect any harping turns or actual racing. It's not about the feeling of the thundering... No, it's all about feeling the thundering roar of the engine. I was going to say, what? The adrenaline pumping gear shifts. The thrill of opening up that throttle and really letting it rip. You don't need a Joy-Con wheel for this. Just a pair of Joy-Con 2 controllers. Alright, when we start, you gotta hold them with both hands the way you'd grip the handlebars of an actual motorcycle. Let's go. You sold me, brop. Demo number 13. Alright. Alright, just like that. Okay, hold the Joy-Con. Okay. Oh, sick. Come on! Oh, that's cool. What? Sick. Dude, even when you're stopped, it like rumbles. It just shakes just a tad. Just like an engine. Dude, that's cool. Drive slowly for 10 seconds. Dude, just feeling it. Oh, this feels so cool. Reach maximum speed. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, man. Woo! Oh, I can't explain it to you. It just feels really cool. But, anyway. That's cool. I like that. I love HD Rumble too. I love HD Rumble. Like, it's so cool. It was one of my favorite things about this Switch, though it didn't get utilized as much as I wish it would have. Hopefully, HD Rumble 2 will get more use. You have more clear medals than me? Seriously? No way. That's right, rival. Get the frick out of here. Alright, we're gonna go this way. We're gonna go up the steering wheel here. We'll take this first quiz. Did you know that how the magnets in the Joy-Con 2 wheel work? Nope. Or how the Joy-Con 2 fits smoothly into the wheel? Nope. In Desire? Yeah, I don't know anything about this. That's the spirit. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's a lot of things to know about this thing. Interesting. Easily attach and detach from the wheel. As for the Joy-Con 2 wheel, attaching or detaching a Joy-Con 2 controller is easy. shall we say, super easy, barely an inconvenience. Let's see. When you're using the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con wheel, put the Joy-Con has to be pushed in and then pulled out to remove. Okay, I mean, that's the old one. As for the Joy-Con 2 wheel, magnets allow the Joy-Con to be easily clicked into place or smoothly removed. Nice, I want to see it again. Oh, wow. That looked way easier. Jeez. Securely attached. I was going to say, it looks so easy, I wonder if it's even securely attached. Okay. To make sure the Joy-Con 2 controller can be easily inserted into the Joy-Con 2 wheel, we added a gap between the Joy-Con 2... Oh, that's the end of the sentence. We added a gap beneath the Joy-Con 2. However, simply including a gap would cause the Joy-Con 2 to become dislodged when the control stick is tilted. Yes, it would. So what did we do about it? Well, we needed a solution that wouldn't get in the way of the Joy-Con 2 when it's attached. There's a rubber attached here. It may look like the control stick will bump it when tilted down, but it's positioned to hold the Joy-Con 2 in place. Thanks to this, the Joy-Con 2 controller feels securely attached and won't accidentally detach. The rubber to the rescue! Alright guys, my goal is to finish the stream of this whole game today. In 4 parts, dang it. The magnets rotate. The Joy-Con 2 wheel and Joy-Con 2 controller are attached magnetically. Magnets in the Joy-Con 2 wheel stick to the SL and SR buttons of the Joy-Con controllers. And when the SR and SL buttons on the Joy-Con 2 wheel are pressed, the SL and SR buttons on the Joy-Con 2 controller inside the wheel are pressed too. But having them pressed down normally wasn't enough. If you move the magnets, the Joy-Con 2 moves along with them. This can result in the SL and SR buttons not getting pressed as intended. If the SL, SR buttons are pressed with something like a rod, the Joy-Con 2 controller will come off the magnet. So what did we do? We made the magnets rotate! Of course. At the access point, the Joy-Con 2 is still stuck to the magnet and doesn't move. The SLSR buttons are pressed where the magnets rotate. That's pretty cool, actually. A strong magnetic pull. The Joy-Con 2 wheel pulls the Joy-Con 2 controller. It does so using internal magnets. The closer a magnet is to the thing it's sticking to, the stronger the pull. We want it to be difficult to detach the Joy-Con 2 from the wheel. So we made the plastic around the magnets quite thin. It's common to use plastic with a thickness of approximately 1 millimeter. But in this case, the plastic we're using is especially thin. It's less than 0.3 millimeters. Jeez. We did this so that the wheel and the Joy-Con are close together as possible. Jeez, you've got it all right. It's time for my quiz. Again. Let's go. Let's go. Insights quiz. 4 questions. Joy-Con 2 wheel. Volume 1. Question number 1. How does the Joy-Con 2 controller attach to the Joy-Con 2 wheel? Magnets. Question number 2. What helps the Joy-Con 2 controller attach easily to the Joy-Con 2 wheel? A gap was added just below the Joy-Con 2 controller. The wheel lets the Joy-Con 2 controller fit snugly inside. Suction cups. Good vibes. Oh, yeah. A gap was added. Question number 3. What happens to the magnets positioned between the Joy-Con 2 controller and the wheel when you press the Joy-Con 2 wheel's SL, SR buttons? They eject the Joy-Con 2 controller. They grow. Man. They rotate. I sure hope not. They stretch. Absolutely. Just kidding. They rotate. Haha. Gotcha. How thick? Question number 4. How thick is the plastic covering the magnets positioned between the Joy-Con 2 controller and the wheel? Less than 0.3 millimeters. Done. Your results are less than satisfactory. I'm just kidding, it's perfect. How dare you? Of course I get perfect. That's a perfect score. Well done. The Joy-Con 2 wheel really is in your wheelhouse, huh? Boop. Thank you very much. Boing. There's another one. That's it. This one. What do you know about the screws hidden in the Joy-Con 2 wheel? I don't know anything. I know nothing about the screws. I obviously knew nothing about the Joy-Con screws either. The wheels are similar. The wheels are of similar size. As you probably already know, the Joy-Con 2 is larger than the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con. But when you compare the Joy-Con 2 wheel with the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con wheel, you'll notice that there isn't much difference in terms of size. This roughly equal size was about as small as we could make it. This was to ensure that people with smaller hands could reach the control sticks and buttons. That said, even though it's about the same size overall, the SL and SR buttons are now larger and easier to press. Yay! I'm all about bigger and easier to press. Easy to grip wheel! Yeah, it looks nice. The Nintendo Switch Joy-Con wheel has a groove where the parts join. You're likely to touch this part with your fingers. So we thought about how to prevent this from happening. You can see that the Joy-Con 2 wheel parts are shaped differently. There's almost no grooves on the outside. That's actually a bit unusual. All of this makes it feel pretty nice to hold. I bet. It looks nice. And it looks a lot more premium. Man, I don't know. I'm so tired. The Joy-Con 2 wheel has a lot of screws. They are needed to hold the plastic in place. Do you know where they are? Nope. There are 6 screws. Wow, hidden underneath the outer plastic. We hid them to make it look as much like a wheel as possible. Nice. Nintendo and wheels. Oh, trust me, they have a lot of wheels. On the topic of wheels, Nintendo has had steering wheel controls available for some time. Wii Wheel for Wii 2008. Joy-Con wheel for Nintendo Switch 2017. Nintendo Labo Toy-Con number 3 vehicle kit. Those are just a few examples. If you go all the way back, you can find even more examples of this. There's Racing 112, 1978. And even the Drive Game, 1966, both of which were exclusive to Japan. Good say, I've never seen that before. Steering wheel controls that you enjoyed the feeling of driving a car. You've read all the insights, right? Get over here. Got a quiz for you. Let's go. Insights quiz. 4 questions. Joy-Con wheel. Volume 2. Question number 1. Which is bigger, the Joy-Con 2 wheel for Nintendo Switch 2 or the Joy-Con wheel for Nintendo Switch? I feel like this is a trick question. The Joy-Con 2 wheel. The Joy-Con wheel. They're the same size. Yesy. Question number 2. What has been done to make the Joy-Con 2 wheel easier to grip? It was made with soft materials. The grooves now hit pressure points on your hands. The grooves are now mostly out of reach of your hands. Boink. That one. Question number 3. There are 6 screws on the outside of the Joy-Con 2 wheel. Where are they hidden? Under the inner plastic. Under the outer plastic. In small wardrobe. There are no screws. That's a trick question. Under the outer plastic. Question number 4. Of the following games that use steering wheel controls, which is the oldest? Oh my word. Drive Game. I'm pretty sure I got this one wrong. Or not. How dare I question myself? How dare you question my authority? Silence, you fool. A perfect score. Impressive. Your knowledge of the Joy-Con 2 wheel knows no bounds. Thank you. I met a lot of visitors here, but you are a real rarity. Thank you. Goodbye. We're going to make our way down here now. Boop. down the escalator. We're going to check these out. These are the rubber cap left and the rubber cap right. All right. This here is... Oh, whoa. I totally missed that. Joy-Con 2 slot right. This one over here is the Joy-Con 2 slot left. Push here to press the SL button on the Joy-Con 2 controller. Bam. All right. Enough of this nonsense. Let's get into the minigame. Looks like you brought me 5 medals. Let's get this show on the road with stunt driving basic course. Let's go. Listen, you don't know what you're getting yourself into here, right? This is a minigame about driving a car, but it ain't your average drag race. You can tilt the Joy-Con 2 controller to stunt drive on 2 wheels. You play with some mouse controls, moving the car to the left and the right. Sometimes you'll have to drive on 2 wheels to squeeze through tight gaps. Two-wheeling should also give you enough height to catch the speed boost in the air. Your aim is to get to the goal as quickly as possible. All right. Sounds simple enough. Sounds easy. Just kidding. Now that I said that, it's going to be the hardest thing ever. Thank you so much, Average Joe, for your comments. Appreciate it. I'm having fun. It's been a blast to play. I highly recommend it, actually. Tilt the Joy-Con to the left or the right. Whoop, whoop. Let's go, boy. Reach the goal using 2-wheeled stunts. Oh, I see. There we go. Oh, man. Ooh. Hey, I made it under 50 seconds. I can do better than that, though. I was not doing well at the beginning there. Alright, let's go. Rather. You know, I have to do like once just to get a hang of it. Like, or not. Oh, yeah. Yep, that was not that bad. That was nice. Yep. That was cool. I like that one. Stunt driving basic course. You were really tearing it up the asphalt. Your dodging and dashing looked pretty effortless, too. At least the second time. Part 2's out. Alright, what's this part 2? We have to at least look at it. Did you bring me at least 32 medals? Yes. Yes. In part 2, race course will have floor panels as well. I'll hit these and take care not to crash into walls, and you'll be sailing straight to the finish line. Okay? This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Alright. Let's go. Whoop, whoop. Oh my goodness. Dang. Okay. Well, I was only 3 seconds off. We can do that again. We can do that again. I simply do not hit anything. Possibly in business. Big money, big money, big money. Dang it. Dang it! Come on. Big money, big money. We can do this. Dang it! Whatever. That'll be enough to, if I hit anything, that'll be enough to cancel the drive. Absolutely. No touching that. Dang it! Ooh, that was bad. Dang it. Gosh dang it! Come on! Let me move this microphone. It's slightly in the way of my hand doing things. Can't tilt if the microphone is in my way. Oh! I shouldn't waste too much time on this, or I'll never finish the stream. But we gotta do good. Dang it. Keep going. Oh, so close. Alright, that's that mini game. You get the idea. That is that mini game. Pretty fast. I enjoyed your stunt driving. It was pretty fast. Nope. No. I don't. I really don't. No. It was an accident. Exit. How fast can I get out of here? Thank you very much. Alright, guys. I think that is it for this section of the console. Let me just double check. Yep, that's it. Alright, we did it. We are on to the last one. The Nintendo Switch 2 console inner area. Let me go to the entrance. Right there. You enter from this ladder. If you want proof, I suppose, but nah. Alright, let's jump over and do this quiz first thing. Did you know how many parts there are in the Nintendo Switch 2 console? Do you know anything about its circuit board? No. I do not. But I'm interested. Excuse me, circuit. Many circuit board parts. On the Nintendo Switch 2 console circuit board, there are twice as many parts as there were on the Nintendo Switch console circuit board. The most common type of part used is the capacitor. These are used to help maintain stable electrical signals. Since the Nintendo Switch 2 console exchanges electrical signals at much higher speeds than the Nintendo Switch console, the slightest instability can cause it to stop working properly. So what we did was use even more capacitors to ensure that electrical signals were disrupted as little as possible. By enabling the exchange of stable high-speed electrical signals in this way, the Nintendo Switch 2 can run at high speeds. Nice. A single circuit board? This is the circuit board inside the Nintendo Switch 2 console. It might seem like it's just a single layer at first, but this single sheet is actually made up of more than 10 thin layers. Holy crud. Each of these thin layers contain wiring that connects one component to another. The wires are a bit like the human nervous system. There are thousands of these wires on the console circuit board. Each layer uses slightly different wiring layout. We designed it as if we were trying to solve a puzzle within our hands. Man. Wiring challenges! As you may already know, the circuit board for the Nintendo Switch 2 console has over 10 overlapping layers and thousands of wires. But the wires isn't just about connecting all the components together. Other things need to be considered too. For instance, it's not possible to have wires crossing on a single layer. The wires had to be narrower than 0.1 millimeters to avoid overlap. The length of the wiring is important too. With when an electric signal runs through a wire, it's about as fast as the speed of light. Now consider the fact that this exchange takes place in a fraction of a billionth of a second. When you have several wires sending data together, they all need to be at the same length, or else the signals will arrive at different times. So you had to make sure the lengths of each wire match, ensuring that the signals arrive at the same time. That's crazy. And one more thing. Make sure that the wires are not too long, as the signals could become too weak to reach their destination, and not too close to each other, as the signals could get mixed up. Jeez. That is why I'm not a computer engineer. Games use electricity. Games use a lot of electricity, actually. The Nintendo Switch 2 console is typically used to play games. Debatable. Also, it's also likely to need a lot of electricity. Smart device. I was joking about the smart devices that you do much more than play games, but they consume less electricity. The amount of electricity that a smart device needs to run for a day would be used by the Nintendo Switch 2 in about 3 hours. Jeez. Incidentally, more than half of this electricity is used by the main computer, which is called the SoC. Well, you've got everything you need. Come over here and take your quiz. Oh, you got it. Come on. Give me the quiz. Give it to me. Insights quiz. 4 questions. Nintendo Switch 2 console volume 1. Question number 1. Which of the following consoles has more components on its circuit board? The Nintendo Switch 2 console, the Nintendo Switch console, the Nintendo Switch 2 console, they're both the same. Wrong. Question number 2. How many thin layers make up the Nintendo Switch 2 console's circuit board? Over 10. Question number 3. How fast are the signals that travel through the wiring of the Nintendo Switch 2 console circuit board? Speed of a top human athlete. That'd be slower than molasses. Speed of a bullet train. No. Speed of a jet. No. The speed of light. Yes. Question number 4. What part of the Nintendo Switch 2 console requires over half of its total power of usage? The screen, the microphone, the speakers, the main computer. Done. Results are in. Woo! Confetti for me. You've got all of them right. Well done, man. Looks like you know a lot about the Nintendo Switch 2 console. Yes, I do. Oh, it seems there's more insights. Let's go. This is fascinating. You can learn more about the Nintendo Switch 2 console. You'll find out about the chases being composed of magnetism, alloy, and plastic, and more. Okay, I don't know about that, but let's find out, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4. Boop. Electromagnetic noise. Whenever there's an electric current running through the circuit board's wiring inside the Nintendo Switch 2 console, there will always be electromagnetic noise present. And electric magnetic noise can sometimes interfere with nearby devices, which can cause them not to work properly. Electromagnetic noise doesn't exactly penetrate metal, so to prevent a lot of it from escaping the console, we wrapped the areas where it's emitted in metal. For instance, let's take the main computer, called the SoC. We encased the SoC in metal to prevent a lot of the electromagnetic noise from getting out. Oh man. Static electricity. When the weather is dry and the temperature is low, you may feel a little shock when touching something metal. This is static electricity. Sorry, it sounded like a song for a second. If static electricity hits a game console, the console could stop working and become broken. And of course, we wouldn't want that to happen. So we employed a few ideas in places where your fingers are likely to touch metal. The game card slot and the Joy-Con 2 magnetic connectors are two such places. For example, we added parts to... I thought it said stolen. We added parts to soften the impact of a sudden jolt of static electricity, and spots that absorb it. These spots stop the static electricity from getting to parts that might otherwise easily damage. Nice. Stop me from getting shocked. Encased with two types of material. These parts that encase the Nintendo Switch 2 console are made from two types of material. These materials are very tightly attached to each other. One is magnesium alloy, shown in orange, and the other is plastic, shown in black. The magnesium alloy is on the inside. It's strong and robust, and it also serves to reduce electromagnetic noise. There we go. Then there's the outer layer of the plastic. Even when the unit gets hot, the plastic lets you touch the console without even feeling the heat. We stuck these two materials together to make full use of them. The console itself is thinner than if we had made it entirely out of plastic, and there's more space on the inside too. Ooh, stuff it full of crap. The console's upper USB-C connector on top of the Nintendo Switch 2 console, you'll find a USB Type-C connector. It can be used to charge the console's battery. This also allows the system to check your comments. No, that's just what I'm doing. This allows the system to charge while you're playing in handheld or tabletop mode. But that's not all. The USB-C type connector can also be used to connect the Nintendo Switch 2 camera to the console. The camera can be used while you're playing games in TV mode, tabletop mode, or handheld mode. However, the USB-C Type-C connector cannot be used to connect the Nintendo Switch 2 dock. This means it's not possible to insert the console into the dock upside down. Why the frick not? What if I wanted to put my Nintendo Switch 2 console upside down in the dock, huh? Who's gonna stop me? Who's gonna stop me? You deserve a prize for reading that. How's a quiz sound? That sounds like a great prize. Tell you what, if there's any kind of prize I want after learning something, it's a pop quiz as a prize. Insights quiz, 4 questions. Nintendo Switch 2 console volume 2. Question number 1. What is the Nintendo Switch 2 console circuit board wrapped in to prevent electromagnetic noise from escaping? Rubber, plastic, metal, a blanket. I sure hope not. That would catch on fire. A metal! Question number 2. When you touch the metal parts of a Nintendo Switch 2 console, what can be transmitted from your hand to the console? Good luck! Ultraviolet light, ultrasonic waves, static electricity. Question number 3. The parts that encase the insides of the Nintendo Switch 2 console are made out of plastic and what other material? Titanium alloy, magnesium alloy, aluminum alloy, calcium alloy. Oh man, I don't remember. Shoot, I don't remember. Let's say magnesium. You know why? I don't. Question number 4. Which of the following can you not do with a Nintendo type I know what you can't do. I was pissed about it. Connector on top of the Nintendo Switch 2 console. Charge the console. Connect the camera. Insert the console into the dock. It can do all the above. It sure should, but it can't. It cannot do number 3. Done. Results. Oh, how dare I doubt myself? Why do I do that? I'm doing fine. Perfect score. Outstanding. Hey, look, there's another one that just popped up. I saw it before they even told me about it. Bonk, 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 bonk. Holy Moses, there's a lot of these. You can learn more about the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. I want to learn about Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Tell me how I'm not going to have any more disconnections. I don't want to do 5 of them. For the sake of the stream, we got to do it. This is the last section. We can do it. When it comes to wireless communication on Nintendo Switch 2, a few different methods are possible. There's online communication via Wi-Fi, Bluetooth communication between the Joy-Con, the Nintendo Switch 2 console, and other devices such as the Joy-Con 2 controllers. Near-field communication, NFC, with Amiibo, and local communication between the Nintendo Switch 2 consoles. Quite a list, huh? And since none of these communication methods involve cables, you don't have to worry about anything getting in the way or tangled up. Wireless communication can be pretty convenient. Nice. Next, 3 antennas. Within the Nintendo Switch 2 console, there are 3 antennas. These 3 antennas exchange signals with other devices. They are used to connect devices such as the Joy-Con 2 controllers, Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controllers, or Bluetooth headphones. They can also be used to connect to the internet via Wi-Fi or to other Nintendo Switch 2 consoles. Oh, absolutely. What's more, the parts encasing the antennas as well as the console itself have an additional function. They can actually blow the frick up. I'm just kidding! They can actually help the antennas work. We don't want the consoles to blow up. Preventing mixed-up signals? Absolutely. The Wi-Fi signal used for online communication and Bluetooth signals used for devices such as the Joy-Con 2 can get mixed up. Sure can. If we don't employ extra measures to prevent this, it can result in poor communication between the devices. So, to help prevent this, we made sure that the signals take turns. The console can use either Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, but not both at the same time. It can switch between these 2 types of communication very quickly. It can also slightly offset the type of signal used. With these measures in place, the signals have a much lower risk of getting mixed up. Cool. The human body and antennas. Why would you want to use my body in the console? Fun fact. It's difficult for radio signals to pass through the human body. Isn't that a good thing? So when the console is using Wi-Fi communication, if your hands or body is close to the antennas, it may weaken the signal. We took steps to make sure that the signal would go right through your face. We took steps to make sure that the signal wouldn't get weakened too much. One way we did so was by considering the positioning of the antennas. It was chosen to ensure that your hands are not blocking the antennas when playing in handheld mode. As for the Joy-Con 2 controller antennas, there are different ways to hold the controllers depending on the game, so there's absolutely no way that you cannot be blocking the signal at any given moment. I'm just kidding, that's not what it says. There are different ways to hold the controllers depending on the game, so we tried to distribute them as evenly as best we could. Then there are the antennas in the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller. There's only one way to hold the Pro controller. Are you sure? I don't know about that. I call bullcrap. Users find a way. So we kept the antennas away from your expected hand position. Expected? Okay, that's fair. That's a good word. Basically, the antennas were positioned based on how you would be holding the controllers except for your face. Alright, let's go. Next one. Nintendo and wireless technology. In the past, Nintendo game consoles used cables for communication. But as time went on, there was a gradual shift to wireless technology. It used to be that when you wanted to connect 2 game consoles together to play, I remember this, you would need a special cable to link them. The Game Boy or Game Boy Advance systems are examples of this. Later, a special adapter enabled wireless communication for Game Boy Advance and Nintendo DS followed the wireless communication capabilities as well. As for controllers, up until Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo controllers had to be connected with a cable. This is when the Wavebird controller came along, which uses dedicated radio signals. The Wii Remote, after this, uses Bluetooth. A similar shift can be seen with regard to internet connections. The Nintendo GameCube had to be connected to the internet via a LAN cable, which is great, because then you don't have any wireless problems at all anyway, which is how we prefer our Nintendo Switch 2 consoles to be plugged in, which is why you gave us the LAN cable. Anyway, I'm going off the deep end here. After this, Nintendo DS and Wii went on the Wi-Fi technology, which is great also. But yeah, it comes with its issues. Starting from the 2000s, the number of Nintendo devices using wireless communication steadily increased. All right, here we go. We've read all the things. Now we go take our quiz. Now that you've read everything, have a quiz. Would you like to try it out? Yeah, I do want to try out your quiz. Insights quiz. 5 questions. Wireless communication. Question number 1. Which of the following can communicate wirelessly with the Nintendo Switch 2 console? Hanafunda playing cards, Game & Watch consoles, Nintendo Sound Clock Alarmo, Amiibo. Oh. Amiibo. Question number 2. There are three of these inside the Nintendo Switch 2 console. What are they? Styluses! I sure hope not. I would not want a stylus stored inside my Nintendo Switch 2 in 3 different places. Antennas! That sounds a little bit better. Umbrellas! Sure. Just depending on the size of the umbrella. We'll go with antennas. Question number 3. When the Nintendo Switch 2 console uses wireless communication, which of the following is offset? Shock waves, sound waves, radio waves, tidal waves. Moses. Tidal waves for sure. These are radio waves. Question number 4. Which of the following is the most difficult for signals to pass through? Your face! Air, glass, plastic. Basic, the human body is part of your face, so I'm not wrong. Question number 5. Historically, through the medium of... Whoa. Let me start over. Historically, through which medium have Nintendo game consoles communicated with each other and their consoles? Sonar! Dang. Telephone landline. Dude, I hope not. Physical cables. The Postal Service. That's probably the worst one on this list. We'll go with physical cables. You're done, boy. And I get 100% perfect score. Amazing. All right, that was that quiz. You're so good at communicating about the Nintendo Switch 2 wireless communication. Thank you so much. Give me my stamp. I'm out of here, and now I go explore over here. Let's see. We did that. Let's go up these stairs. And we're greeted with another quiz. All right, well, this one shouldn't be... I'll take it back. It could be 5. You can learn about how the microSD express memory cards here. Oh, good. Let's learn about those express cards, because why are they... they are so specific, Bob. They have to be express cards. Not just... not so, yeah. 5 of them. MicroSD Express memory cards. A MicroSD Express card can be used to save various Nintendo Switch 2 data. Downloading games as well as photos and videos taken with the capture button are saved on this card. It's a handy thing to have if you run out of system memory. You can also use a MicroSD card on the Nintendo Switch console, kind of. But only a MicroSD Express card will work on a Nintendo Switch 2 console because you'll find a place for it in the spot where you can pull out the stand. You just need to insert the card into the slot marked MicroSD Express, and you should be good to go. Nice. I should be good to go. Why should? More pins. Let's take a closer look at a MicroSD Express card. While it may look similar to a MicroSD card, there are key differences like your face. Going back to your face. You should notice once you flip it over that it has more faces and, it has a lot more pins. With these pins, data can be read and written in a new way, with your face. But since the original pins are still there, it can even work as a microSD card. It's actually compatible with Nintendo Switch 2. It's actually compatible with Nintendo Switch consoles, of course. Makes sense. A new way to read and write data. With the microSD Express card, the Nintendo Switch 2 console has a new way to read and write data. Compared to when you use the microSD card on the Nintendo Switch console, Assuming a buffer size of 4 megabytes, the read speed will be about 8 times faster. However, different cards different cards will typically read and write at different speeds. Some games will be doing more in the background than just loading, which means loading speeds may not always be around 8 times faster. Reading and writing speeds are getting faster. MicroSD Express cards can be read and written very quickly. Yes, they can. Which is why they're awesome. This is what I want to know. Because they are nice, but why make it so these would be the only things that work? The Nintendo Switch 2 console only accepts a specific type of card because we're full of... Oh. And that is the MicroSD Express card. Take note that the MicroSD cards won't work because we're pieces of... Oh! The Nintendo Switch 2 console takes advantage of the speed at which MicroSD Express cards read and write data. Okay, that makes sense, but why not just let us be slow if we want to be slow and, And we'd like you to benefit from this extra speed as you enjoy new games. Well, I really appreciate it, and I do want that higher speed personally, so I'm not going to throw a fit. I'm just trying to stick out for the little man, for the little guy. For the little guy who just has whatever MicroSD card they got laying around the house. What about the Joe Schmo, the average Joe Schmo? Although that's not to say that microSD cards are completely unusable. That's better, see? If you still have photos and... Oh. If you still have photos and images saved on a microSD card that was used on a Nintendo Switch console, you can copy the data over here, but that's about all we can do, you little sap sucker. Alright, next. Less likely to get hot. The microSD Express card is fetching fast. I put fetching in there before. In fact, because it sends signals so quickly, it tends to get so fetching hot. Naturally, we tried as much as we could to avoid heat buildup. We thought about where to place the microSD Express card slot, and we decided to put it exactly where we had it for the Nintendo Switch console. I'm just kidding, it's on the opposite side. As decided to put it near one of the air inlets to help keep it cool. Makes sense? Holy hotness, Moses. On top of that, we kept the microSD Express card slot as far away from the computer component as possible because that sucker just starts to smoke. We even applied graphite around the thing, sheets to the microSD card slot. These sheets are very effective at transferring heat. Not as effective as diamond, but sure. Talk to my buddies. The sheets help spread the heat around, which keeps the area cool. Oh, man. You're qualified for a quiz. I am qualified for a quiz. Insights quiz. 5 questions. MicroSD Express card. Question number 1. Which of the following can be inserted here and used with the Nintendo Switch 2 console? Greeting cards! Greeting cards have all been sent. No. Game cards. Absolutely not. Well, in a way. Download cards. MicroSD Express memory card. That's the one. Question number 2. What does a MicroSD Express memory card have more of than a MicroSD card? Physical size. Pins. Ease of inserting into the console. They're the same. Ha! Pins. It's got more pins. Question number 3. How do the read and write speeds of a MicroSD Express memory card compare with that of a MicroSD card? They're equally fast. Ha! The MicroSD Express cards are slightly faster. The MicroSD Express cards are a lot faster. Calm the frick down. They're like blazing speeds. What aspect of the MicroSD Express memory cards do games for the Nintendo Switch 2 console make full use of? Their compact size, their lighter weight, their pins luster, their reading and writing speeds. Man, the luster here. Question number 5. The Nintendo Switch 2 console has been designed to benefit to the MicroSD Express memory cards in what way? It lets them read and write wirelessly. It slows down their read and write speeds. Why would you want to do that? It stops them from cooling down. Ha ha ha! That's really good. It stops them from heating up. That's the right answer. Jeez, man. Results. Cha-ching! Perfect score. Amazing. Bam. Not a single wrong answer. Gotta tip the hat for that. Thank you so much. Give me that stamp. And here comes that woman to talk to me again. She says, oh, before I forget, I'd like to introduce you to my associate here. Yeah, he's been with you the whole time. Let me explain. Oh, heck no. Okay, fine. How quick can you explain? He's actually my personal assistant. Oh, you've been keeping that a secret this whole time. He's always been by my side jotting down notes, although to be honest, I have no idea what he's taking notes on. Perfect. Well, you're his superior. You should smack him. Oh. He's a bit on the quiet side, but on the inside, he holds a blazing passion. We're conducting an inspection of the venue at the moment, and I say, what? That was it? You're going to leave me at that? Okay. All right, everyone. This is the battery. That's where the battery is placed. We've done enough quizzes for a second. Let's do this demo real quick, and then we'll get back to the quizzes because we need a break. We've done like 4 quizzes in a row. You've collected at least 6 medals. I respect the hustle. There is no hustle here. It's just how I play. Let me get this ready for you. It won't take any time at all. Good, because I'm impatient, and I'm already impatient. So this isn't a game. I know it's not a game. What do you say to short 3D sound experience? Oh, crap. Well, I don't have any headphones right now, and I can't really hear anything. Oh, yeah, I can't do that one then. So I cannot put my console in tabletop mode or handheld mode, or else you won't see what I'm doing. So there'll be no benefit. There's been other mini games like this. I'm really sorry. But, yeah. Basically, you're just going to hear some 3D sound, which you can do with your own console without having to purchase this game for $9.99. You can learn about 3D sound here. Oh, sweet. Let's just learn about the sound instead with this quiz. All right, here's the console speakers insights to 1, 2, 3. This one should be short and easy. 3D sound. When you play games that support surround sound on Nintendo Switch 2, you can enjoy 3D sound, whether it's coming from the Nintendo Switch 2 console speakers or from a pair of headphones. This works not just for Nintendo Switch 2 games, but for Nintendo Switch games as well. Nice. You might even hear sound coming from places that you shouldn't even know about. Oh, dang. Just kidding, that's not what it says. You might even hear sound coming from places where there aren't any speakers. Hey, that's basically what I said, okay? It's just, that was better worded, okay? 3D sound with headphones. When you're listening to 3D sound with headphones connected to the Nintendo Switch 2 console, game sounds are produced to make it, processed to make it seem like they're coming from different directions, but in fact, they're not. If a sound is meant to be coming from the right side in the game, you'll hear that sound playing in your right ear slightly sooner. The left-right balance is calculated to reach your ears at the right time. This means that there's a slight delay before the sound comes out of the left and right sides of the headphones. And that's not all. We use the dummy head. Oh, that's not fun. We use the dummy head microphone to simulate how sound changes based on several factors, including how it bounces around the external ear in complex ways and how it reverberates through the head and so on. Okay, you guys are getting a little bit creepy here, alright? As a result, it will give the impression that the sound is coming from somewhere the frick else, anywhere but the left and right sides of your head. Nice. Yeah, how do we do that with the 3D sound with the console speakers? We didn't. We made the speakers face backwards, as we learned the other day. As far as the 3D sound coming from the Nintendo Switch 2 console speakers, it doesn't work the same way as it does with headphones. On a pair of headphones, sounds from left and right can be played to each respective ear. In the case of speakers, though, you would still hear sounds from the right speaker in your left ear and vice versa. The sound would just mix and jumble, making it difficult to hear. So the console speakers employ a certain trick. It's called I'm just kidding. They cancel out the sound that reaches your opposite ear. They cancel out the sound that reaches your opposite ear. What the crap? That's cool. Okay. So in sound that would reach your left ear plays from the right ear speaker The complex signals play along with it to cancel out that sound. So it's like noise canceling, but for each other. As a result, the sound from the left will only reach the left ear. What the fetch, man? That is cool. And the sound from the right will only reach the right ear. The console speak. Dang. Okay. Respect. That's cool. Alright, let's take that quiz. Insights quiz. 3 questions. Console speakers. Volume 2. Question number 1. To enjoy games with 3D sound on the Nintendo Switch 2, which feature must they be compatible with? Monaural sound, stereo sound, surround sound, ground sound. Let's see. Surround sound. Makes sense. Question number 2. When using headphones to listen to 3D sound on the Nintendo Switch 2 console, what happens to the sounds on either side coming from different directions? Their timings are offset, boy. Question number 3. When you're listening to the 3D sound from the speakers of the Nintendo Switch 2 console, signals are emitted to cancel what? Let's check the comments. Alright, we're doing good. It's gonna cancel my dinner plans. If it cancels my dinner plans, it will make me new dinner plans. It will cancel pre-orders for downloadable software. If you want a lawsuit, Nintendo, just keep going that direction. Sounds around the console. Nice. Sounds that enter the opposite ear. That one. Dinner plans. That was great. I like that. If you answer dinner plans in your playthrough, if you're watching this, why are you watching me play this when you've already played it? Number 1. Number 2, let me know down in the comments below if you selected dinner plans. You wasted. That was inspiring. Because respect. If you did, respect. I bet you could speak about speakers for days now. Speak about speakers, speakers are speaking. I can speak about speakers. Let's go. I've seen this mini game a many days in my day. Let's go. Oh, that's fantastic. You managed to get 19 medals. It's time to unveil a slot in the shapes. 4 shapes. Boop, boop, boop. Let me explain. I really don't want to read this, but I will. In this mini game, you have to fit shapes themed on the floor suits of pack cards into their correct slots. Make sense? You have to move the pieces around using mouse controls and rotate them, and then fix them and put them right back in their place. Your goal is to get the pieces in as quickly as you can, or you're gonna die. Let's make this interesting. I'm dead. Alright, let's go. Slot in the shape, 4 shapes. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. 20 seconds or 15 seconds. Got it. Okay, I gotta do it in 15 seconds. Quickly fit the shapes into the slots. Mark set 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go. Whoop. Got it. Oh my gosh, that rotated way quickly. How close do you have to get it to go in? Maybe not. I lied, everyone. This is gonna be a disaster. Oh, it's not gonna be a disaster. I'm only 2 seconds off. Woo! Alright, 2 seconds off. Let's go. We're doing it again. Try again. What are you doing? Try again. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go. We're gonna put this one over here. Bam! We're gonna put the heart over here. Bam! We're gonna get the 3-leaf clover and put it right there. Get that diamond, rotate it, and put it right there. No, right there, right there! Woo! If it didn't take me 3 tries, I would have gotten down to 10 seconds. And there is your 2 medals for this mini game. Man, that was the easiest mini game I've done like that. Normally takes me like 15 minutes. Woo! But watch out, there's more. There's gonna be a round 2 of this. How the fetch did you do that? Here, you go over there. You need 35 minutes to open that up. Go ahead. Alright. Looks like you have 35 minutes. That's great. Welcome to the Shapes 2 floating slots. Let's go. In part 2, the slots for each of the shapes will start to float around a bit. Oh, they're gonna move? Some of us in the Western United States would call that cheating. Moving the target. I hate moving targets. 8. Wait a minute. I have to do 8 too? I wasn't reading that very closely. Bam! No. Bam! Okay, this sucks. Get in there. Bam. Get in there. Get in it. Yeah, this really sucks. Ah. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Ah. This timer better be like a lot more lenient. Get in there. Get in there. Got it. There we go. Okay. That's reasonable. 45 seconds for the first medallion and 30 seconds for the next one. I did it in 38 seconds. I just got to be 8 seconds faster to get both medals. I think I can do that. Maybe. Bam. Wham, bam, shang-a-lang and a shala. But go in there, get in there, get it, get it, get it! There we go. That's what I can do. I just click it. Get in there. Nice. Here we go. Bam. 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 Get in there. I didn't do it. I could have done it though. Could have done it. I'm going to do it one more time. If I don't do this next time, we'll move on, but I want to try again. 3, 2, 1, 7, go! Bam! There we go. There it is. Here you go. Nintendo, if you're not making a Mario Paint right now, you're stupid. Get in there, you stupid wretched! Wow, that was the worst I've ever done. Man, these two shapes really hate me. Jeez, get the frick in there! Heart! You're killing me, Smalls! Get in there. There we go. Holy Moses. Whoa! I was like 22 seconds off. Yeah, we're done. I'll master that on my own. My own time, not yours. I'm sorry. I had to try, but dang, man. Alright. Now that you pissed me off with some more work, shut up. I don't even want to talk to you anymore. Get out of here. Alright. Give me a quiz. You can learn more about the Nintendo Switch 2's battery. Good. Let's talk about that battery. Okie dokie, let's go. 1, 2, 3. 1.2 times the battery capacity. In terms of performance, Nintendo Switch 2 console is several times better than a Nintendo Switch console. Naturally, this means it requires more power. Just give me more fetching power. We've done our best to reduce the amount of power it uses, of course, but of course we're not good at that. I'm just kidding. But even after optimizing the console, we needed to get more power. If we had used the same battery that's used in the Nintendo Switch, you wouldn't be able to use the Nintendo Switch 2 for very long. So for Nintendo Switch 2, we opted for a different battery. This new 5220 mAh battery has 1.2 times the capacity of the old one. mAh stands for millisphere hours. If I read that right. An increase of 1.2 times doesn't mean you'll be able to use the console for 1.2 times longer, but we did our best to maximize the time that you play on it. Battery longevity. We believe that video game consoles should be long-term companions. We'd like you to be able to keep on using them for many years to come. That's why we filled it full of... We did our best to make sure that the Nintendo Switch 2 console's battery lasts a long time. And I mean long time, I mean 6 months. I'm just kidding. There are a few things we did to achieve this. We purposefully tried to ensure that the battery doesn't get too much power when it's charged. If it did, the energy output would be slightly weakened, which is why you need to turn on the charge to only 90% feature in your Nintendo Switch 2 settings. It does not come turned on. I don't know why Nintendo didn't do that. Go into your settings and turn on that so that you don't kill your Switch 2 battery. They talk about that here, but they did not do it on purpose. They let you charge it to 100% until you decide to charge it to 90. So, I choose you to choose 90%. If it did, energy output would be slightly weakened, and the battery could begin to degrade and die in 6 months. Also, I keep saying 6 months. I don't even know what it is. I'm just making that up. It's easy to damage a battery with fast charging, so we've done our best to fast charge it even faster. Just kidding. We've done our best to prevent this. Our focus was on how many times the console can be charged. We decided it will charge about 500 times. I'm just kidding. That's not enough. Our focus was on how many times the console can be charged. We wanted to be able to be charged even more times than a smart device. Well, guess what? I don't know if you succeeded or not because it's only been a few weeks. Nintendo and batteries. Nintendo has a history of using batteries to power game consoles. Lithium Go back. Oh, that is back. Lithium batteries in particular. Console battery life has been improving with successive generations. The Game Boy Advance SP has 600 mAh. The Nintendo DS 850 mAh. Nintendo DS 1300 mAh. I don't even know what mAh. I don't understand that, but I understand numbers, and I understand that these are getting bigger, and I like the fact that they're in the thousands. The Nintendo Switch. Whoa! 4,310 mAh. Then the Nintendo Switch 2 has 5,220 mAh. Nice. Incidentally, you get 2 hours of play. I'm just kidding. Same as you did on their Game Boy, but it uses more power. I'm just kidding, I don't know. The Game Boy and Game Boy Advance systems use dry cell batteries. In those days, if you ran out of battery while playing, you had to throw away the dry cell batteries and buy new ones. I knew that. Thank goodness that age is over. Can you imagine? How many AA batteries would it take to power the Switch 2? And how long would you be able to use it for before you had to replace all 20 batteries? I'm just kidding. I don't know what it would be. Insights quiz. 3 questions. Battery. Question number 1. How much more capacity does Nintendo Switch 2 console's battery have than Nintendo Switch console's battery? 0.8 times. There's no difference. 1.2 times or 100 times. Man, I wish it was 100 times. Nintendo, you can't put that answer in there. You're gonna get my hopes up. Question number 2. Why is the Nintendo Switch 2 console's battery not supported with too much power? Because too much power comes with too much responsibility. It makes the battery lighter. It makes the battery smarter. Oh, it makes the battery smaller. It increases the battery's, it increases the battery's capacity. It helps prevent battery degradation. Question number 3. What was used to power the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance systems? The desire to play powered the systems. That was a good answer, Nintendo. Dang. That was way better than that last one. Clockwork. I smiled. I didn't laugh. Solar batteries. That'd be cool. Dry cell batteries it was. Solar batteries. That'd be awesome. Heck, why don't you put a solar panel on the back of the Switch too? I've seen remotes, like TVs that have solar panels on the back. Come on. Perfect score. Amazing. Thank you very much. I took the quiz. Well, look at that. You got them all right. I hope that quiz recharged your own batteries. Ah ha ha ha. See what you did there. I'm definitely feeling like I'm ready for bed. Quiz! Would you care to learn about the Nintendo Switch 2 screen's range of colors? Oh, dang, man. The range of colors is going to be huge. Vivid screen. The Nintendo Switch 2 screen can produce very vivid colors. A deep, vibrant red, for instance. In order to produce such rich colors, a very thick color filter is used. However, when you use a thick filter, the resulting image will be darker. If you compensate for this with more brightness, the battery will drain more quickly. It'll just... You want to compromise on battery life. So instead, to keep the image from getting too dark, we made the shining dots, pixels, as large as they could be. We also made other customizations along with these lines. The screen has been customized to display rich, vibrant colors. Cool. Liquid crystal display. The Nintendo Switch 2 screen uses a liquid crystal display. It works in much the same way as the Nintendo Switch console screen. It's much brighter and more vivid than the Nintendo Switch console screen, though. Also, the Nintendo Switch OLED model screen uses an OLED system. OLED screens are very vivid, but the Nintendo Switch 2 console's LCD screen is also quite striking. While it's true that the OLED model's colors are a little richer, the Nintendo Switch 2 console screen can be brighter. The screen also is also HDR compatible. For those who have both consoles, it might be interesting to compare them. Well, you know what? We will! I have one, and I have one, and I'll do 1 plus 1, and that will equal 2. Then I'll be able to... What the... The number of times per second that a screen changes its image is a refresh rate in LCD. It's called refresh rate. For example, if the image were to change 60 times per second, you would say that its refresh rate is 60 hertz. In the case of a Nintendo Switch 2 console screen, it supports a refresh rate of 120 hertz. It also supports VRR, which stands for Virtual Reality Realism, which also allows for switching... it doesn't. Which allows for switching between refresh rates. Alrighty. But each of these features also have been fine-tuned. If the image changes 120 times per second, the pictures do change incredibly quickly. Wow. But it also means anything that interferes with the signal, such as resistance, will have more noticeable effect. Abso-freaking-lutely. This could ruin the image as a result, so you better do well. So we had to implement a few ways to reduce the amount of interference. Conversely, when there are fewer pictures changing per second, the colors gradually fade and the image gets darker. So we had to find ways to ensure that the colors don't fade easily. You've read all the required reading. Now come take your quiz. All right, let's go. Try out the quiz. Insights quiz. 3 questions. Console screen. Volume 2. Question number 1. Which of the following is used to produce a bright red color on the Nintendo Switch 2 screen? An apple peel. Get the food out of my console. A thick red filter. A thin red filter. A red pencil. A thin red filter. Question number 2. The Nintendo Switch 2 screen outputs its image via which medium? Shadow puppetry, plasma, liquid crystal. Oh my gosh, I don't remember this. I don't remember. I'm probably not even close. You can laugh at me on that one. What's the term for the number of times the screen changes? It is a refresh rate. I did not do this one. I know that for a fact. Yep. There's no way. Oh, shame. What did I miss? What was that question? Very thick. Okay, cancel. Yep. Okay, it's very thick. Got it. Liquid crystal. Okay, I was right. I was going to do liquid crystal. I doubted myself. Why do I do that? Take the quiz. Insights quiz, 3 questions, console screen, volume 2, take 2, question number 1. It's a really thick red filter. My bad. Question number 2 is liquid crystal. You're welcome. Question number 3, I got right. It's called the refresh rate. And nailed it. Thank you very much. A perfect score. Brilliant. I see you've learned much about the Nintendo Switch 2 console screen. Yes, I have. Give me that stamp now. Holy crud, there's more. You can learn even more about the Nintendo Switch 2 console screen here. You'll find out about the increased screen size, the process through which it lights up, and more. Sound interesting? Yes. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 5. A bigger screen. In terms of screen size, the Nintendo Switch 2 console screen is about 7.9 inches. Compare this to the Nintendo Switch console's 6.2-inch screen and the 7-inch screen on the OLED model. It's gotten pretty dang big. In fact, it's the biggest screen of all Nintendo's consoles to date. This makes it even more impressive in tabletop and handheld modes. It's also easier to see when playing with others. By the way, it's actually slightly bigger than 7.9 inches. We just say it's 7.9 inches to have you calm the frick down. Sometimes bigger is better, but not always. So that's why we didn't give you anything bigger than what we did. Do you guys suck? I'm just kidding. The Nintendo Switch 2 console does have a larger screen, which actually has some benefits you might not be aware of. For instance, a bigger screen means that the computer can do even more calculations. How? Well, the more calculations a computer can perform, the hotter it gets. The larger the device, the less likely it is to heat up. This allows the computer to perform lots of different calculations. So, to lay it all out, the bigger the screen, the bigger the console, the larger the console, the less likely it is to heat up. The cooler it stays, the more calculations the computer can do. And the more calculations it can do, the more pictures and characters it can ultimately calculate. So, if the computer can calculate lots of pictures and characters, then the images should look clear and smooth and many with the use of translucent plate called light guiding plate. The light of an LED can spread. There's a slight unevenness to the plate. This reflects the light in a complex, uneven way and spreads out. In this way, by lighting up a bunch of LEDs next to the plate, the entire screen can light up. This to ensure uniform brightness of the screen. We experimented with different bumpy patterns, eventually setting on the current design. That's cool. You've read it all. Good, good. Come take your quiz. Boop. Avid readers like you probably love quizzes, right? No. But I do them anyway because I have to get my stamp. Insights Quiz, 3 questions, console screen, volume 3. Question number 1. In terms of size, roughly how many inches is the Nintendo Switch 2 screen? It is 3.14 inches. Nice. I like the pie. I do like pie. I have been eating pie. I need more pie. 6.2 inches. No, 7.0 inches. That was the OLED. 7.9 inches. Actually, these are all wrong. They're all wrong. They said that the Nintendo Switch 2 screen is slightly larger than 7.9. So actually 7.9 is wrong. But in this case, it's the right answer. Question number 2. What can the Nintendo Switch 2 console do now that it's bigger? It can calm the frick down and give me more calculations faster, more efficiently, and not get too hot. Let's go. Write essays. That'd be nice. Make mini calculations. Yes, I'll say that one. Question number 3. The light that lights up the entire Nintendo Switch 2 screen starts out as what kind of light? Sunlight. Thin rays of light. Small dots of light. Light from fireflies. What? Thin rays of light. Done. Oh! I knew I got that last one wrong. I was like, something about that last one. It didn't feel right. Oh. White LEDs. Yeah, single LED. Even an even plate, complex. Yeah, but I didn't say small LED lights. This way. Small points of light. Alright, let's go. Insights Quiz, 3 questions, console screen. Volume 3, take 2. Question number 1. We said it was 7.9. Question number 2. We said it was to make mini calculations. Question number 3. We said small dots of light. Okay, that's the only other question you could be because sunlight's a buttload of bull crap. And so is the other one. Ta-ching! Perfect score. On take 2. Very well, you've achieved a perfect score. You're awfully knowledgeable about the Nintendo Switch 2 console screen. I'm so proud of you, thanks. Now give me that stamp. That's all I want. Oh my gosh, there's another quiz! Stop talking to me about this stuff. I want to play a game or something. You're a truly staggering number of insights. Perhaps I'll share some tidbits about the tech demos. Nah. Bye! Do you have an idea of how thin the Nintendo Switch 2 screen really is? I have no idea, but let's find out how thin it is. 1, 2, 3. Boop. A slightly lower screen. One thing about the Nintendo Switch 2 console screen is that it's actually a slightly different depth from the area around it. How slight, do you ask? Holy crud! Well, the screen is deeper by about the thickness of a piece of printer paper. It's barely noticeable, but this height difference helps prevent the screen from coming into contact with the floor or other surfaces. Whoa. Sheet of paper. Whoa. A thinner screen. One thing about the Nintendo Switch 2 console screen is it's made up of many overlapping parts. There's the LCD liquid crystal display, a shatter-resistant film, and a screen cover, transparent plastic, 2 polarizing plates, 2 pieces of glass, touch... I hope I don't have to remember this. 2 pieces of glass, a touch sensor, a light guiding plate, an LED film, and so on. Oh, good. With all these parts laid on top of each other, there was a risk of screen becoming too thick. There wouldn't have been space left for the other parts. So we made the cover out of thin tempered glass. For other parts, we chose the thinnest possible ones that we could find. Basically, we designed the screen to be as thin as possible. Long, thin IC. Often, on the inside of a computer, there's a component called an IC, integrated circuit. It's typically squared shaped. As for the IC that controls the Nintendo Switch 2 console screen and touch input, it's pretty thin, measuring about 30 millimeters by 1 millimeter. It has to control more than 2 million dots called pixels, 1920 by 1080p, as well as other over 900 touch sensors. It uses over 3,000 wires to achieve this. In order to be able to attach all the terminals connecting so many wires, the IC had to be long and thin. Man, oh man, the tech. Here's a quiz. Oh, Bob Dole. Bob Dole. Bob Dole. Hello, Bob Dole. Bob Dole, I'm going to make sure you know that you made a splash in my live stream today. Inside Squids, console screen, volume 4, 3 questions. Question number 1. This is sheet of printer. I didn't read the question for you, my bad. Question number 2. The components shown in the... Oh my gosh, you're making me do it. The components shown are layered on top of each other to make what part of the Nintendo Switch 2 console? The mouse pad, the battery, the circuit board, the screen. Question number 3. What kind of shape is the IC integrated circuit that controls the Nintendo Switch 2 screen that's touch fit? Circular, triangular, long and thin? Heart-shaped. That'd be cool. Good luck. Good luck. Perfect score. Amazing. Major congratulations. Your perfect score demands a standing ovation. I want to see it. I want to see it. Give me the stamp, and then give me that standing ovation. Nope, you didn't. You just gave me a wave of the hand. Lame. Man, there's nothing but quizzes in this thing. There are quizzes in one game. Where am I? Oh, that's going to the other place. Alright. Nope. This is the story of a girl. Just kidding. This is the wireless antenna. One of the wireless antennae. Alright, we're going... Oh, we already did that one. Sweet. Didn't I see another one, though? Sweet. Did that one. I saw another quiz. I was very turned around. Did that one, did that one. Sweet. Okay, we are done. Awesome. Let's go. Upstairs. This is... Whoop. The heat sink. Let's turn this again so I'm not confused where I am. Alright, I don't remember if there's anything over here. There is a quiz. I knew it. There's always a quiz. You can learn about the Nintendo Switch 2 console's heat you'll find out about it. Want to know? Sure, I want to know about the... Electronic devices get freaking hot, like fetching hot, like dang hot. Some electric devices just burn your hands up. Some can heat up longer than they run, and they can actually catch fire. Samsung. They can get particularly hot when performing fast calculations, communicating rapidly, or running while being charged. And using devices that are hot to touch definitely isn't fun. But that's not the only problem. If the parts are too hot, the device itself may fail to work properly. Some parts could even break completely, or catch on fire. To ensure that doesn't happen, the Nintendo Switch 2 cools down the parts in different ways so that they don't get too hot. Sweet. A quiet fan. The Nintendo Switch 2 console does its best to keep itself from heating up. One way it does this is with the built-in fan. This fan tunnels air into the console, blows it at different parts. The hot air is then pushed out to keep things cool. The fan isn't always running though. Ugh. First thing, it uses a temperature sensor to check how hot the console is. If it's hot, the fan runs at high speed. If it's not too hot, it only spins a little bit. At low speeds, the fan will be so quiet you can barely hear it. Try putting your ear up to the fan and listening for yourself. When it gets dang hot, man, that thing can blow. Your Nintendo Switch 2 turns into a helicopter. The Nintendo Switch 2 contains a circuit board. The components on the circuit board generate heat. These need to be cooled down. They need to calm the fetch down. To do this, air flows to both the front and back of the circuit board. Both sides are directly connected via the air inlet. Oh, that's cool. And the fan draws in air, ventilating both from the front and the back. And so, the components on both the front and the back of the circuit board can safely be cooled. Boing. Easy airflow. Barely an inconvenience. To cool the Nintendo Switch 2 console with air, it blows. The airflow needs to be as smooth as possible. With good airflow, the fan doesn't have to push itself at high speeds. Air inlets were made on the underside to let the air straight in. At the outlet, the air comes straight out, unobstructed. Thanks to this and the console's more powerful fan, the Nintendo Switch 2 provides roughly twice the airflow of the Nintendo Switch. Whoa! Dang! Well, okay then. Alright, let's take that quiz. Inside quiz. 4 questions. Heat dispassion. Question number 1. What happens to the 2 electronic devices that they run? They get cold! Whenever you run an electric device, they get cold. They get hot. They get lighter. They get sleepy. Well, they do get sleepy. But they get dang hot. Which of the following is attached to the Nintendo Switch 2 console? Question number 2. Which of the following is attached to the Nintendo Switch 2 console to cool it down? Ice. Hope not. A refrigerator. Again, I hope not. A fan. That's good. An air conditioner. That would be even better. I'll take a fan. Air conditioner would be sweet. Question number 3. Where does the air flow over the Nintendo Switch 2 console circuit board to cool it down? The front, the back, both the front and the back, and I can see it right there. Question number 4. How much airflow does the Nintendo Switch 2 console provide in contrast to the Nintendo Switch console? About the same amount, a little more, twice as much. Done. Results are in. Perfect score. Perfect score. Too cool. You're too cool for me. Here's your stamp and get the frick out. Thank you so much, sir. Oh my gosh. More heat dispassion insights. Woo. And if you didn't know already, this is the fan. Just so you know. You can learn more about the Nintendo Switch 2 console's heat dispassion methods here. You'll find out parts that are sensitive to heat, how heat is transferred, and more. Thank you. You'll give them a look. Glad to hear it. There's heat the dissipation insights too. 3 of them. Let's go. Heat sensitive. One thing about the Nintendo Switch 2 console's system memory is that it's susceptible to heat. The system memory should be kept as cool as possible. That's why it's positioned close to one of the air inlets. What's more, we made sure that it wasn't near the other parts that heat up. And there's one last thing. The wiring conducts heat easily because it's made of copper. So we give the system memory its own spot away from any wiring. This reduces the transferred heat. As a result, the system memory is protected from heat. Good. Keep that thing cool, as I would say. Heat is spread evenly inside the Nintendo Switch 2 console. It's normal for parts to get hot, but some parts are difficult to cool down with air alone. We used a couple of different materials to solve this. The first being graphite sheets, and the second, a substance called thermal grease, both of which are good at conducting heat. By using these, heat is evenly distributed across the parts that get hot, so they only become a little warm. Because a lot of air gets to this warmer area, the console can easily be cooled. Graphite sheets have been attached to plastic on the back, as well as on other parts, such as the microSD express memory card slot. The thermal grease, meanwhile, is used for the main computer. Distributing heat cools down the console. If you, reminds me of that quote, if someone throws a curveball at you, lean into it. Transferring heat. Do you know which part of the Nintendo Switch 2 console produces the most heat? It's the main computer, also known as the SoC. Yeah, that thing can just... All this heat from the SoC needs to go somewhere, which is where the heat pipe comes in. It carries the heat to the air outlet. The inside of the heat pipe is a vacuum. There's a little water in there too. The water is heated by the SoC, turns into steam, and moves toward the cooler side. Then it reaches the air outlet, turns back into water, and returns to the SoC through a process called capillary action. This carries on over and over, transferring heat to the air outlet. This way, even the part that generates the most heat gets cooled down. Nice. So you read it all. Come talk to me, son. Have your pop quiz. Insights quiz, 3 questions. Heat dispensation, volume 2. Dissipation. Question 1. What measure was implemented to prevent heat from transferring across the space marked in red? Wiring was kept away. Question number 2. What heat conducting substance is used to distribute the heat of the Nintendo Switch 2 console's main computer? Superconductive grease, baking grease, thermal grease, bearing grease, thermal grease. Question number 3. What moves around inside this thing? Metal powder, air, small amount of water, small amount of water. Done. Results are in. Alright. We look at that, you got all the answers right. Next time I need some advice on heat, I'll talk to you. Alrighty now, we already did that. That's the thing that has water in it. And there's the SoC. We're standing on top of it now. Are you familiar with the SoC? How about CPU, GPU? I thought you might want to learn more about that. Blip, blip, blip. The main computer. What have we here? NVIDIA. Why is the Nintendo Switch 2 console's main computer? It's what's known as an SoC, system on a chip. The single chip has all sorts of capabilities. It acts as both the CPU and GPU, handles video and sound, extracts to express data, shows images on the screen, and interacts with the main memory and system memory. Needless to say, it's a very important chip. Yes. The CPU. With the Nintendo Switch 2 console's main computer, there's a part called the CPU, Central Processing Unit. It calculates how characters move switches from one scene to another. In short, lots of calculations are happening here. The Nintendo Switch 2 console's CPU is several times faster than the CPU in the Nintendo Switch console. The faster a CPU is, the better it is at displaying lots of different characters on the screen, and the better it is at performing more complex motion. Nice. The GPU. Within the Nintendo Switch 2 console's main computer, you'll find the GPU, Graphics Processing Unit. Its main purpose is to perform calculations for drawing images on the screen. The Nintendo Switch 2 console's GPU is several times faster than the GPU in the Nintendo Switch console. The faster the GPU is, the better it is at generating more complex and detailed images. Note, this video is purely for speculation and not for your eyeballs. Also, the GPU, where machine learning and ray tracing calculations are taking place in your... Yep. Let's go. Great job reading all that. Thank you, sir. This is the point where I give you a quiz. Sweet, let's go. Pop quiz. Insights quiz, 3 questions. Main computer, go. Volume 1. This is going to be volume 2. Question number 1. What 3 letters are used to refer to the Nintendo Switch 2's main computer? SoC. Question number 2. What part of the Nintendo Switch console's main computer calculates things? The CPU. Question number 3. Which part of the Nintendo Switch 2 console's main computer mainly processes drawing calculations? The GPU. Done. Your score is incredible. Why, thank you. Hey, look, there's more. Whoop, hey. Really? You're almost done with all the quizzes. Sweet. Almost done. That means less than 5. So what are your thoughts on the super resolution? How about ray tracing? Yeah, there we go. I hear you. There we go. There's going to be something interesting to read. Let's go. Seeing the GPU and CPU interesting too, but a sharper, more detailed picture. With the Nintendo Switch 2 console's main computer, sharper, more detailed images can be produced. This process is called super resolution. In games that support super resolution, the computer performs machine learning calculations and predicts what kind of detailed picture it should draw. This results in a cleaner, more detailed picture. Oh, yeah. Machine learning calculations, DLSS. Inside the GPU of the Nintendo Switch 2 console's main computer, there's a place for performing machine learning calculations. This place contains what are called tensor cores. Using certain fixed patterns, tensor cores can perform multiplication and addition incredibly quickly. These operations are used to perform machine learning calculations. There are plenty of things that can be done with machine learning calculations. For example, you can make the game's picture clearer and more detailed. You can erase everything except for the people from a camera's video feed. Nice. Ray tracing. Inside the GPU of the Nintendo Switch 2 console's main computer, there's a place that calculates ray tracing, which is a way of drawing images. This space contains what are called RT cores. RT cores can calculate whether or not there's light hitting polygons, and it does this incredibly quickly. In games that use ray tracing, these calculations can be used to simulate light reflections and make the images look more realistic. Done, boy. Sweet, I see you're done. Come talk to me, son, and have yourself a quiz. Insights quiz. 3 questions. Main computer. Volume 2. Question number 1. Through which process does the Nintendo Switch 2 console's main computer draw sharper, more detailed pictures? Transformation. Oh, someone's playing Rocket League. Super resolution! Boink. Question number 2. What is the part of the Nintendo Switch console's GPU that can quickly perform addition and multiplication? Loose Change. That's a good band. Dates. The number pi. Machine learning calculations. Question number 3. What can be simulated with the Nintendo Switch 2 console's GPU ray tracing calculations? Car physics, light reflections, characters' feelings, company management, light reflections, as you see over there. Done! Results are in. Perfect score, amazing. You got every question right, good going. Looks like you really know the ins and outs of the main computer by now. Thank you so much, sir. We're getting there, fellas. We almost done. This is the wireless antenna. Upper. This is the USB-C type connector on the top of the system. This is the audio jack. This is the game card slot. Welcome. Alright, it's time to take a break from all the quizzes. And let's see. Got about 1, 2, 3. I'm just seeing how much I got left. Okay, we're really close, I think, unless more of them pop up. Which one's gonna pop up? Most likely. So, come on, go across the data board. Alright, I'm gonna go grab a drink real quick. My throat's a little dry. I'm gonna go get a drink real quick. I'll be right back, and we'll continue. Much better. Needed that. Thank you, guys. Just got a drink. No, it feels much better. All kinds of microphones. The Nintendo Switch 2 console does have a built-in microphone, but you can always use a different microphone if you'd like. For instance, you can plug in a microphone into the audio jack, or you can attach it via USB port to the console or the dock. Oh, nice! You can even plug it into the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller's audio jack. You got plenty of options, so feel free to take your pick. Whichever microphone you settle on, the chip will make your voice easy to hear. Thank you so much, Chip. One microphone is enough. You might notice that the Nintendo Switch 2 console only has a single microphone. Sure, there are some devices out there that come filled with 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12. Having 2 or 3 microphones makes it easier to pick up a person's voice from a specific direction. But in TV mode, you're free to point the Nintendo Switch 2 console dock in any direction you want. You're also free to speak anywhere in the room. This means that you don't need the microphone specifically pointing at someone. Also, the Nintendo Switch 2 chip makes it even easier to pick up your voice. And it's customized specifically for games, so it can pick up your voice loud and clear. And that's why just a single microphone will be enough. Cool. Why is the mic on the console? The Nintendo Switch 2 microphone is built into the console, but we initially considered putting it somewhere else. like on the Nintendo Switch 2 dock, on the Joy-Con grip, or the Joy-Con 2. The problem was, the microphone would not only be usable in TV mode, the microphone would only be usable in TV mode if it were part of the dock. And it wouldn't be usable in handheld mode if it was part of the grip. If we put it in the Joy-Con 2 controller, it would have made it harder for the what? Microphone to pick up voices when you were using motion controls. We wanted to make the mic easy to use, and we wanted this to apply whether you're using the console in handheld mode, TV mode, tabletop mode, you name it mode, not to mention when you're using the motion controls. That's why we decided to build it into the console itself. Nintendo and chat features. When it comes to voice chat, we've barely started using voice chat. It does not have a long history. You only need to look back at the titles of Diamond and Pearl for the Nintendo. Oh, really? Animal Crossing City Folk and we. Okay. I guess you're right. Pokemon X and Y for 3DS. Okay, fine. Okay, that's true too. Nintendo Switch Online app. Yeah, that was terrible. No one used it. What's more, you can even talk with people as far away as using Light Telescope, released in 1971, exclusive to Japan. Nintendo has always tried to let you chat, but finally made it streamlined enough to use. You won't mind if I spring a quiz on you, right? Insights Quiz Microphone 4 Questions Volume 2. Question number 1. Which of the following devices can you connect a microphone in order to more easily hear people's voices? Only on the Nintendo Switch 2 console, only on the Nintendo Switch 2 dock, only on the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller, all the above. Yes. 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 Boing, 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 boing. Question number 2. How many microphones are built into the Nintendo Switch 1, 2, 3, 1, 2? Question number 3. In which mode is the Nintendo Switch 2 console's microphone intended to be used? TV mode, handheld mode, tabletop mode? Yes. Question number 4. What could you use to chat and speak when the We Speak accessory? Paper cups and some string. Telepathy. Dang. We just moved backwards in technology. Hand gestures, your voice. That's weird. Results are I passed. Flying colors. Just watch that confetti fall. Ta-da! You got every answer correct, sir. And now I'm gonna give you your stamp. Take your step and do whatever you do with your stamp. Thank you. I will now play a mini game. Oh, there we are. 34 glittering medals. Breaststroke floaty frustration is now available. That doesn't sound like fun. I'll explain. As you already know, they both come with mouth sensors. You have to use both mics at the same time. I need to move my microphone then. Alright, swim as fast as you can to get to the goal. Alright, let's go. Oh my word. Breaststroke floaty frustration. Clear. Alright, here we go. Reach the goal using breaststroke. Oh. Oh my. Okay. No, stop going to the wall. Oh, I see. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, that was so bad. Okay. Bam! Oh! I didn't even get one? Oh, I thought I got at least one. Okay. Go straight, Douglas. Straight. 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 I'm just kidding. I did that on purpose. All right, here we go. That was an accident. I'm just being honest with you. All right, here we go. Oh, come on. Mouse. Mouse. Okay, that's my problem. Keep them down on the table. Do not lift them up. If you lift them up, it messes it up. Okay. Okay. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Yep. If I want to get a full breaststroke. There we go! Alright, we're not doing 10 seconds. Alright, we'll do it. I've done it with every other minigame. Woo-wee! Oh my word. Woo! Yeah, I'm done. Jeez. Oh, it's harder than it looks, okay? You're fast. Nah, I'm not. No, I don't want to. But I will later. I will later. So right now I'm kind of on. I'm feeling a little bit of burnout. But I want to finish this stream dig and I'm so close. You can learn about the Nintendo Switch 2 console's memory here. You'll get to find out particulars of the console's memory, such as its speed. Yes, let's go. Main memory versus system memory. There are two kinds of memory at play here. One is main memory and the other is system memory, internal storage. Both types of memory read and write data, but they're actually different from one another. Main memory is read from written faster, but the data is lost when the Nintendo Switch 2 console is powered off. System memory, however, is slower to read and write operations, but the data is retained when the console is powered off. For that reason, the main computer uses main memory when it needs to read and write faster. However, it uses the console's system memory to store downloaded games. For example, the downloaded games on the console's system memory are loaded into the main memory before the main computer begins to read and write. Each type does the work it's best suited for. Nice. Bigger main memory. The Nintendo Switch 2 console's main memory loads programs and data from console's system memory. Main memory can also be used to store the results of the main computer's calculations. The Nintendo Switch 2 system's main memory is 3 times larger than that of the Nintendo Switch systems. This can also be used to display more character models and create larger worlds. Nice. Faster main memory. The Nintendo Switch 2 memory has twice as much circuitry as the Nintendo Switch consoles. It has also used a method that lets it read and write data twice as fast. So compared to the Nintendo Switch 2 console's main memory is up to 4 times faster. It's faster in many areas and is able to perform more calculations in the same amount of time. Not only that, the Nintendo Switch 2 console's main memory is comparable to that of smart devices. That said, on many smart devices, the main memory is found on top of the main computer. When it comes to Nintendo Switch 2, the main memory is located away from the main computer. This makes it harder for the main memory to heat up and allows for additional circuitry. It's designed to perform a lot of calculations. Goodness gracious, my reading. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it deserves a drink. It's tricky. It's tricky. When the Nintendo Switch console's main memory Data written to the main memory will be lost once the power is shut off. To prevent this data loss, power must be supplied repeatedly. This is called refreshing. When it comes to Nintendo Switch 2, data is not easily lost. It refreshes more than 200,000 times per second. Holy crap. Got it memorized? Let's put your knowledge to the test. I don't know if I have any knowledge on this one. I'm going off of memory here. Ha ha! Inside quiz memory, 4 questions. Question number 1. Which of the following reads and writes data faster but loses its data when the power is turned off? Main memory. Question number 2. The Nintendo Switch 2 console's main memory can handle how much more data than the Nintendo Switch console's main memory? Oh dear. Remember. I think it was 2 times. The Nintendo Switch 2 console's main memory, does not get hot easily because it's located away from what? The main computer. Wait, that was wrong. More than 200,000 times. I think I got it way wrong. Way wrong. Oh, not way wrong. That was good. That was good. Bigger main memory. What'd I get wrong? 3 times larger. Got it. Okay. Yep. We're 3 times larger, and we're back. Sorry, guys. I can do this. Inside quiz memory, 4 questions. Question number 1. Main memory. Question number 2. 3 times. Question number 3. Hey, the main computer. This what the answer was. Question number 4. More than 200,000 times. Done. There you go. That's what I wanted to see. Not one mistake. I'll give you that stamp. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You can learn about the Nintendo Switch 2 console storage right here. You get to know about the console's storage speed, past examples of Nintendo downloadable game data, and more. Would you like to learn that? Yes. I love it. 256 gigabytes. Plenty of things on this can be stored on the Nintendo Switch 2's memory. From game save data and downloadable games to photos and videos taken with the capture button, it has a capacity of 256 gigabytes. That's 8 times more than the system's memory than on the Nintendo Switch OLED. This means that it's easier to add games and take up more space. Hallelujah. What's fastest? When it comes to reading memory and reading to the system memory, Nintendo Switch 2 works differently from Nintendo Switch. Assuming buffer size of 4 megabytes, Nintendo Switch 2 can read and write roughly 8 times faster than its predecessor. However, some games can be doing more in the background than just loading, so loading the speed isn't guaranteed to be around 8 times faster. Also, out of all the storage mediums that hold game data, it's the system memory that can be read the fastest. Even faster than a game card or a micro SD express memory card. Yeah, but I don't care. I put it on the memory card. Nintendo and saving downloadable games. Nintendo has a long history of letting you save games in the form of downloads. Wii, Nintendo DSi, Nintendo 3DS, Wii U, Nintendo Switch, and let's not forget about what the fetch is that? Saddle of you. What the heck? Whoa. I'll produce download and save games as long as it's day. Calm down. Wow. I did not know about that thing. I think you've earned a little quiz. Just don't ask me about whatever that thing was. Inside quiz, 3 questions, storage. Question number 1. 256. How many gigabytes of a system memory does the Nintendo Switch 2 console have? I know that because I am a nerd and I need to have as much storage as possible. Which of the following data is the fastest at reading writing data? Game cards, microSD, the Console's memory. Question number 3. Oh, crap. Which of the following Nintendo services was the first to let you save game data in the form of a download? That one. Saddle of you. Results are done. Perfect score. Amazing. Sweet. Thank you so much. Give me that stamp. Boop. Alright, we're getting there, people. You can learn about the Nintendo Switch 2. Let's go. Boop, 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 boop. Boop. Okay, the operating system. Not every piece of Nintendo Switch 2 software is a game. The console comes instead with the software that is always running in the background. This is a form of operating system, or OS for short. The OS helps game developers by making it easier to create games. It can also download software and update data when you're playing games. To find out what your friends are up to, send out notifications, and more. The OS quietly supports games in the background, sending out notifications and more. The OS quietly supports games in the background. Yes, it does. A dedicated gaming operating system. The Nintendo Switch 2 operating system is dedicated to gaming. In fact, that's specifically what it was made for. Loser. I'm just kidding. Operating systems found in smart devices and PCs are designed to do many things. But when an OS is dedicated to gaming, it focuses solely on game-related tasks. That's why it was designed to be small. This allows for more of the console's processing power and memory to be used on games. The Nintendo Switch 2 console is designed for playing games after all, so games are naturally prioritized. Wrong. I'm just kidding. Rewriting programs. Because we do that. Inside the Wii U console, there's a Wii computer. It lets you play Wii games on the Wii U. However, the Nintendo Switch 2 console is different. You won't find a Nintendo Switch computer inside. The Nintendo Switch 2 computer works differently from the Nintendo Switch computer. This means that the Nintendo Switch games won't work as they are. Despite this, you can still play Nintendo Switch games on Nintendo Switch 2. How is this possible? Well, when you play a Nintendo Switch game, the OS adapts it to the way the Nintendo Switch 2 console works. It does so by rewriting Nintendo Switch programs such as shader on the fly. Oh. When you play a Nintendo Switch game, the Nintendo Switch 2 OS is rewriting things in the background. By the way, because you're playing a Nintendo Switch game on Nintendo Switch 2, which is not using the Nintendo Switch computer, you may notice that some improved performance, such as faster loading times and smoother gameplay. Firmware! This isn't strictly related to the operating system, but there's a number of different computers inside the Nintendo Switch 2 console and its accessories. The main computer is just one of them. For example, the Joy-Con 2 controllers and dock each contain their own computers. In fact, every single game card contains a computer. Not only that, each computer has its own software that runs on it. The software is called firmware. Because the Nintendo Switch 2 console is designed for playing games, we customize each piece of firmware to make it easier to use with games. In other words, each Joy-Con 2 controller dock and game card runs its own custom firmware. Man, I didn't know that. Nintendo and operating systems have their own operating systems for some time. Ever since the Wii, in fact. Nintendo 64 and DS also have operating systems. But in these cases, the OS is mainly included in the game software. Since the release of the Wii, the OS has been installed on the console instead, running in the background. It also has performed all sorts of functions to improve your gameplay experience. Oh boy, it's getting late, guys. For example, the Wii Connect 24 for Wii. Street Pass and Street Spot Pass for Nintendo 3DS. Woo! Bring it back, Nintendo, bring it back. Miiverse for Wii U. Yeah. I'm on the fence on that one. Switching between TV mode, laptop mode, handheld mode on Nintendo Switch. Nice. And so on. Alright. It's time for that quiz. Let's go! Insights quiz, 5 questions, operating system. Question number 1. What's the name of the software that comes out installed on the Nintendo Switch 2 and runs in the background? It's called the operating system, the OS. Question number 2. What operating system does the Nintendo Switch 2 console use? The same OS used on smart devices. The same OS used on some PCs. An OS dedicated to gaming. The same OS for no. That one. No, that was wrong. Question number 3. What allows Nintendo Switch 2 to play Nintendo Switch games? The Nintendo Switch computer contained within Nintendo Switch 2. Wrong, there is no Nintendo Switch computer. The operating system rewriting data in the background. Yes, that's the one. The system converting data on the fly via internet connection. Nintendo Switch games cannot be played. Yep. Kinda cray. What type of software runs the Nintendo Switch 2 computer, the Joy-Con 2 controllers, and the other Nintendo devices? Firmware! Homeware! Oh my word. Let's not get that. Nintendo has been using the same game consoles with other operating systems installed since the release of which game console? Wii. Yep. That's the one. Done. Results are, yeah, buddy. Perfect score. Perfectly done. That's a wrap. Boing. Sweet. And now we go down. Go down. Go down. Don't look them in the eye. This is the main memory lower. Welcome to the main memory. And this is the main computer. Where's that at? There we go. This is the SOC. This is where it gets hot. So I don't want to be in here very long. Woo! Already sweating. And this is the main memory left. Suck this person. Are you ready to take Nintendo Switch 2? Welcome to a final quiz. Sure. Final quiz. 13 questions. Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Question number 1. What is the name of the mechanism that attaches the Joy-Con 2 controllers to the console? Magnetic connector. Question number 2. How many USB-C type connectors does the Nintendo Switch 2 console have? 2. Question number 3. What is the name of the button on the Joy-Con 2 right that opens the game chat? Oh, I can do this without even doing any of this. This is the C button. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Question number 4. Which of the following parts has a stamp that can be found on the Joy-Con 2 right area? Oh my. HD Grumble 2. Got it. Question number 5. The mouse feet on a Joy-Con 2 strap attached to a Joy-Con 2 controller affecting each of the controller in what way? The mouse feet. Oh, that's right. They stop it from slipping. They help it move around. They stop it from slipping. They seal its socks. They give it sentence. They help it move around. Yep. Super nice. Absolutely. Which of the following is present on the Nintendo Switch 2 dock? The HD Rumble 2 feature. HDMI port. The lens. Speakers. What? Okay, which of the following is present? Okay, I was like, what? None of those are on that thing. What happens when you turn the slider for the Nintendo Switch 2 camera's privacy shutter? The camera sprints away because it's offended. Absolutely. The camera zooms in. Wrong. The lens is covered up. Wrong. A ball comes out. Correct. Just kidding, guys. The lens is covered up. If you watch the past streams, the lens is covered up. Which of the following parts has a stamp that can be found in the Joy-Con 2 inner area? Crud, I don't know. I really don't know this one. I'll say capture button. I'm really wrong. Question number 9. Oh! I didn't read it. Come back. Which of the following cannot be found on the Nintendo 62 Pro Controller? SLSR. Man, I don't even know what number 9 was. What is the shape? Circular. What? What kind of question is that? Which of the following is located at the very end of the Nintendo 62 console inner area? Which of the following is located at the very end of the Nintendo? At the very end? At the very end of the Nintendo console inner area. At the very end. SOC. C button. Shribble 2 parts. Sensors. It's gotta be the SOC. The rest of that is not even on there. Number 13. This exhibition coming since the release of which Nintendo console. Done. Unsuccessful. You were so close. You were so close. All right, let's do it again. We have to do it. We gotta do it. We gotta see what happens. I know these answers. I'm gonna do it faster this time. I'm not gonna read it through, okay? We're just gonna go through these. I pushed A on stupid question that I should not have done. What is the name of the button on the Joy-Con to open the game chat? The C button. Question number 4. Which of the following is a stamp that can be found on the pack? A Scribble 2. Question number 5. They help it move around. Question number 6. An HDMI port. Question number 7. The lens is covered up. Question number 8. I don't know this one. I'll still say the capture button. Question number 9. What is located right in the middle of the Joy-Con grip? It's Nintendo Switch 2 logo. Wow. That one was really bad. Which cannot be found. SLSR buttons. Question 11. It is circular, my friend. Question number 12. The SOC. That's the only thing it can be. Bam. Done. Oh, baby. Oh, man. I guessed on that capture, and I was right. Oh, my gosh. The stamp rally is now complete. Stamp rally completed. Thanks for playing. It's totally playing a song. I don't know. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You have seen it here first. The entire game of the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. You can now say that you played it along right with me. And, yeah, you've seen it all here first. So, all right, I haven't introduced myself yet, have I? My apologies. Let's correct that. Not to brag, but I actually play a fairly important role at this exhibition. I'm its creator. Nice job making it this far. I know you explored many different areas before winding up here, but any particular exhibits that left an impression on you, needless to say. I've explored it so thoroughly. Mind if I take a look at your map? You've been all over the exhibition hall. Thanks for making it all the way here. I hope you'll continue to enjoy the space. Wow. 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 Dang. Yep. We've done it. Oh, man. It took me 4 live streams. I thought I could do it in 2 hours. Little did I know. Well, guys, thank you again so much for tuning in. My name is Steven. If you've enjoyed this content, then bless you. If you've stuck with me this far, especially when I was getting tired back there, then thank you so much for tuning in, because I got a little loopy there at the end. But thank you so much for tuning in with me for all 4 live streams. I hope you enjoyed the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour as much as I did playing it. There's still some things I got to do that I cannot do on stream. such as taking the console out and doing the things that require, the Switch to be out of the dock. But thank you again all so much for being here. If you like this content, please subscribe, like, and ring that notification bell so you're notified whenever we go live again, because it will happen again. And I can promise you that again. And until next time, guys, keep it nerdy.